Welcome to There Must Be More, a Bethel, Ottawa podcast. Remember to like and subscribe on YouTube at Bethel, Ottawa, and follow us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify Podcasts.
So welcome back to the podcast. So great to have you. We love that you are joining us. And today we have an exceptionally amazing discussion with one of our favorite human beings. And I think she's actually even a fan of the show.
Oh, yes, I am. Yes, I am.
We have the amazing and talented Sheril, Pastor Sheril Shaw.
Yes.
Woo, woo,
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. If you don't know who
me.
Sheril is, she is our worship and creative pastor here at Bethel. So we're so excited that you're here.
I am excited to be here. I've been watching you guys since day one.
Yes, you have.
You're
We
an
know.
OG. You're an OG.
And it must be real. Actually, sometimes Sheril is sitting over there on the
right
couch
there.
while we are doing podcasting.
Yes.
I am.
Cheering
and
us
fighting
on.
the urge to just jump in.
I know, right? And
just
maybe
go for
one time
it.
you should.
Yeah, just a little call.
Right,
a little
right.
call
And if
from
we
the
don't
side.
like it, we'll just cut it
We'll
out.
just cut you out. That's the beauty of editing.
That's the beauty of
Like,
it
hey,
all.
wasn't I supposed to be in there? Yeah, no.
Okay,
It's
so
all good.
Amazing.
today we are talking about something that should be close to all of our hearts, I believe.
Yeah.
But you have some exceptional, you have a connection with it maybe differently than a lot of us.
Yep. And insight.
Yeah, you have really good insight.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's the word that I actually
You're welcome.
needed.
I thought you.
Yeah,
That's why we're a team. That's why we're a team.
You know, you say the things that need to be said, and I fill all that other space. But we're talking today about worship and performance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you want to get straight into it? Do we need to do any more of this witty banter, or?
I think before we get right into it, I think it would be helpful for those of us who are listening, who maybe aren't familiar with Bethel or familiar with church at all. Tell us quickly just a little bit about what you do, because what you do is so much more than you get up on stage on Sunday morning, you sing your set list, and you walk off the stage, right? There's a lot of behind the scenes. So can you just briefly tell the listeners, what does a day in your life or like day-to-day job look like for you?
All right, so
A lot to unpack.
Okay,
it's
wait,
not,
how
it's
much
not
time?
quite simple. Yeah.
how much time do we have?
Just briefly.
Yeah. So, where do I start? First, let's start with the title. It's a mouthful. It's worship, creative arts, and production director.
Oh, I forgot to say
pastor.
and production.
Yes. So
My bad.
it's the entire department that I oversee. I do have Tyler, who's lead over production, but he's more of behind the scenes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's all encompassing. As far as what I do on a day-to-day basis, I onboard new members, train, do intakes, vision casting. I did write some stuff down, so if you see me looking down, it's just so that I don't forget.
I do it all the time. And I'm not even like, I'm just like, So,
What do I have to say?
So I also organize, plan, and lead for Sunday mornings. So a lot of people may come in and just think, oh, we're just singing a bunch of songs, but that's stuff that we do during the week as well. So I orchestrate and organize the practices on the Wednesdays. We also have Innovate nights on the Tuesdays.
Yep.
We also have Innovate nights on Tuesdays so that we can also learn new songs, upskill ourselves, train new areas. We have so many different areas in collective.
Yeah, you really do.
A lot of people basically see vocals and band because
that's not it.
it's more forward and very focused. But we also have behind the scenes. We have production. We have live stream switcher, audio, audio because we mixed for online and in-house. We have service director, lyrics, graphics. We have
Camera,
photography, videography. We have media, which Shannon is the lead over that. So whatever videos that you guys see, such as announcement videos, testimony videos, any other special videos, that's media department, right? So we have that. We have dance. We have spoken word. We have... Oh gosh, you
so much.
name it,
Yeah.
we have it. During the week, for me, for Monday, it's more admin. I check emails, I respond to new intakes. I plan for Tuesdays. I also plan for the rest of the year. I meet with my volunteer assistant, Darlene. Oh, such a awesome help for me.
She's amazing.
So we plan the rest of the year.
Yeah.
I have a huge calendar in my office that maps out the year.
Huge. She's not exaggerating. It's like whiteboards and whiteboards and whiteboards and all the dates, everything that's coming up. Like it's it's
so
intricate.
we have to plan for Easter, Christmas, Thanksgiving. While you guys are thinking that, summer is just summer. No, we're actually planning for what's coming up for Refocus Sunday, Christmas, East, Thanksgiving, all of that. We're planning months and months in advance. Although sometimes it does feel as if I am racing against time and the clock and everything, because that week, Sunday takes precedence over a lot of things, but everything else still can't be neglected, right? So I make
your
sure
hand
that...
is in many different pots.
Yeah. Whereas it can seem to some people like your role is simply to go up and sing a song or two on Sunday, right? And that's like no.
Because when I do intakes on Thursdays with new members, one of the things that I always get is, wow, you guys do a lot. And it's simply because we don't only just serve for Sunday mornings. We serve every other area and department in the church. Areas. Children's, men's, Wednesdays for mega prayer, young adults, youth, seniors department. So we'll have folks go over to the ravines every couple of Sundays to lead worship there. Wow. We have youth every Friday. I could basically have folks out, depending on practice, where they're serving between Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then back again on Sunday. And if there's something special that's happening on the Saturday, we can have people out on that time as well. And I'm still the one that needs to oversee and make sure that all of that is running,
falls into place, and
it falls into place and stuff. So there's quite a bit.
That's a lot. Yeah,
I think kind of throw on top of that also that you create the culture. Right? So you lead these people into what you hope for them to experience in worship. And for them to lead others into worship. And so you're very much it's just so
and
deep.
Vision casting for the year as well.
There's so much depth there. So we are appreciative of what you do.
And your
team.
And
I have to say that the experience that we have on Sunday, while that's what most people are going to see, right? But it is significant, right? It's a significant experience for us to come in and hear just everybody singing the way that they're singing, right?
And that's what I love about the team as well. Like, we go from the place of not just coming out to sing for the sake of singing or coming out to volunteer for the sake of volunteering. We're doing it for the glory of God, right? That's our focus. And so each time that we come out, it might seem like, okay, it's another Sunday, but it's not another Sunday to us. It's another opportunity for us to minister and be in the presence of God with other believers and like-minded folks. And the gifts and the talents that we were blessed with, we want to make sure that we're not burying it, but we're using it and multiplying it and growing it and giving it back to God.
No, that's amazing. And I hope, my next question, I hope it doesn't bleed too much into what you just said, because this was really great what you said. But then there's a responsibility that you must feel, right? And it's not just linear. It's not this one responsibility to put on a good performance, right? Like, you take into account God, you take into account the congregation, but then there's also responsibility to you and to the team, right? So can you speak to what you feel your responsibility is maybe across the board? Is it the same across the board? Like, what's the weight that you carry that you bring to the worship service?
The weight that I carry is that I'm not doing it for anybody else. I know, yes, Bethel has hired me as the worship pastor, worship creative art pastor, and that one of the main focus is leading worship. But my responsibility, what weighs heavily on me is that I come before God's people and before God with a genuine heart and focus on who I'm doing this for. It's not for anybody else. It is really for him. And he says, go out and be fishers of men, right? I don't necessarily go out and preach the word of God, but what I do is minister the word of God in the form of singing, in the form of worship. And how we worship on a daily basis speaks to our relationship to him, like what our thoughts are to him and how we view him. And the way how I view him is that he is above all else. Right? Yeah. He's above all else. And what I do for him.
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing.
Can I ask a different question? Okay. So, sorry, and I do this all the time to people.
Classic Rob.
Yeah.
I know where this is going.
But so you come into the situation and you know that, and you kind of gave a bit of a feel like you just want to be, and you said it, I want to be genuine in this, right? How do you deal with the bad Sundays? How do you deal with, I messed up last week and now I need to come in and leave. I messed up last night, right? So we're all people here.
Yep.
So Sheril isn't specifically more holy on Saturday so that Sunday is a great service. But I think that's something that a lot of us end up dealing with when we're ministering to people, down to our people who are like involved in prayer. They mess up on Saturday, or they had a bad time. They got angry and yelled at their kids and now they got to come and pray for people. But so similar to you, like how do you deal and how do you prepare your heart in those situations? Sorry, that's a really big.
No, you know what it is? I've come to the place where I realize that I'm not perfect, right? God's not asking for me to be perfect. God's asking for me to be surrendered. He's asking for me to come to him whenever I do, or I fall out of place, do something wrong or fall out of place, or just feel as if I'm not worthy enough.
Right.
And I'm never worthy enough.
Wow.
Never worthy enough, right? I lead worship on Sundays. Like, for instance, previous Sunday, I was sick the week before, right? As much as I want to spend a lot more time in his presence and just like that hours and hours in his presence, just soaking in his presence and just being one with him. As you guys know, like the list is forever long. And I'm just like, okay, God, I don't want to be fighting for time to be in your presence, but at the same time, I don't want to miss that time with you. So instead of me saying, okay, I need to block out 3 hours to do, I make sure that on a daily basis, on an hourly basis, I connect with him, right? Sure. And I speak to him. But it's a matter of by Sunday morning, I just surrender myself to God. And I say, Lord, I am not perfect. I am just here for you to use me. If you guys get the opportunity to be in our pre-service prayer devotion time that we do with the team, it's always about refocusing ourselves, rededicating ourselves, emptying ourselves, being present and ready for God to use us in every single.
I've been there. It's beautiful.
In every single way.
I honestly find that, like, so with, say, preaching, I can get every single time I could get focused and stressed and worried about, I should have done just a little bit more, right? And that it's almost like that voice is always going to be there, whether it's an attack of the enemy or whether it's you, or like that Bert I got in my head saying, you should have just done more. You should have just done more. You should have, like, did you really give this enough? Did you love God enough this week to actually be able to provide what needs to be right? And what you said, just the surrendering. I find that he's just so powerful in that. Like, he's always shows up.
Always shows up. I find the time that we are struggling the most and we simply just say, God, your will, not mine. It's like amazing things happen
It is true.
So true.
Amazing
So
things
true.
happen
So
in
true.
the service. I couldn't tell you the amount of times, including last Sunday, like myself, Darlene, like a few of us weren't feeling well.
Yeah.
And we just knew that it's either we show up and be present for what God has in store and what he wants to do, or we can just say, oh, I'm not feeling well, so I'm just going to stay home. And we chose to show up.
Yeah.
And the work that he did and how he worked in and through us was just amazing. We walked away refreshed.
Yeah.
Yes, our physical bodies were just like
tired
and still
Sure,
feeling
for
beaten
sure.
up, but our spirits were just revitalized and refreshed, and we could just imagine how other people felt
Yes,
walking
100%.
away from that, right? So
100%.
that's the
That's
focus.
amazing.
That's the focus, is for God to be able to work in and through us, and for him to be the focus, not us, not how we're feeling, not what's going on with us, but him.
That surrender is so,
that
so
posture,
powerful.
so powerful. That posture that you have, it shows. Like it shows that you and your team have that posture, right? And like we're at Bethel, we're very, very blessed to have you and your team like leading us, because you can tell that it's authentic, that you just want to serve God, that you want to love Him, and like that's how you do it. Is
We
you
have an
bring it
amazing
in
team,
worship,
yeah.
an amazing team. It's just that heart posture is so important. I think a lot of people forget that. If I'm being like, if we're going to be real in worship, sometimes it could look like a production.
Yeah.
It could look like a concert or feel like a concert.
Yeah.
And there's time and place for like, we want to do everything with excellence.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you the honest truth. Like, that pokes for me when folks go, oh, I loved your performance. No, my friend. That 100% was not a performance. Because I am not here to make anybody feel good. Or however the case may be.
Say it again. You're not here to what?
I'm not here to make anybody feel good. Nobody on my team is. The team is. We are genuinely here to usher in the presence of God. We're genuinely here to cultivate an atmosphere of freedom, freedom in worship, freedom in praise, freedom in allowing yourself to be present and to connect with him. Something that when you're by yourself, you can receive that time, you can receive that connection with God. But I find when you're in it with community, it is so different when everybody's on the same page. We're all worshiping together. We're all connecting in the spirit. We're all giving up a praise that is unlike anything else. We're connected in that spirit. We're connected in that time. We're connected to him as well.
Absolutely.
So it's never about a performance. It's never about me trying to make you feel good. It's never about what does it look like. Right? It's about what is it doing in the house of God? Are we welcoming his presence? Are we allowing him to move? Are we surrendering ourselves? Are we making sure that our thoughts are not on, oh, what happened this morning or what's going to happen after church, but we're actually in the moment to receive. That's how you receive words of prophecy. That's how you receive edification. That's how you receive all of these things, right? Is when you avail yourself and you say, this time is for me, God, and the community. And I'm going to make myself present.
Again, it comes back to that posture. Like you are humbly like submitting yourself to God. And I would like dare to even say that your job on a Sunday morning is one of the most important jobs. Every volunteer is important. Every staff member is important. Every ministry is important. I would say, for me personally, I'll say this, I'm not speaking for everybody. For me personally, I see it as you have one of the most important jobs because you're ushering in like the presence of God, right? And like you just explained it, you're getting people to praise, to worship, to give thanks. Like you're the one you're setting the sail, essentially, right?
Yeah, you're encouraging.
You're encouraging the people. So I just,
and we can't. Amazing. And as much as, because when folks come in, they come in with everything, right? As much as you might pray yourself in, coming in on a Sunday, if you're coming in with a car full of your family or something happened that morning or you get bad news or your week's just been folly and you're coming in on a Sunday morning, like there are times when you come in and you just need that extra encouragement, right? And in that time of worship, we're there not to put the focus on us, but to bring the focus on who God is and what he can do in that moment for you and how it can carry over into how you receive the word.
Wow.
Right? How you walk the rest of the week out. So the worship is there to till that ground that is your heart,
right?
So that you're receptive to the word, the seed that is coming that needs to be planted.
Yeah. Wow.
So.
Yeah.
But you are a musician, right?
Yeah.
And you have a gift, and so there is the performance aspect to it too, right? Like,
I'm gonna be very honest with you.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how the best way is to explain it, but on Sunday mornings or whenever it is that I'm leading worship, whether it's Sunday, Tuesday, whatever, it's literally never about a performance, and it's really about my one-on-one time. I sing outside of church. You guys know that.
Yeah.
I don't know that everybody knows that, but I sing outside of church, and I have to tell you, it's sometimes the hardest thing to do because I am naturally a worshiper.
Yeah.
So when it comes on to that, yes, I need to make those people feel good because it's not always entertained. It's not always like
a worship
scenario that I am going to when I sing outside. It's sometimes for like a birthday party or a wedding or
an event.
Somebody's putting on an event and they want me to sing. So then I need to like switch and say, okay, Sheril, this is not a worship, although I'm still giving worship to him.
Yeah.
Because I'm using the gift that he blessed me with. I have to really say to myself, all right, this is not the time where you're trying to like zone in to receive a word, to prophesy to
Maybe
people.
they can use it.
But it's like, at that point, I'm just like, okay, they need that encouragement, but they need more to be entertained because that's what they got. They paid to come do.
Yeah, for sure.
So then there's that. But when it comes on to a Sunday morning, I cannot stress to you guys enough that it's never about, and that's the difference between ministry and performance, is that one is about entertaining folks and the other is literally about an encounter. Having that encounter with that one true God.
Yeah.
The true God.
Yeah.
So
that's no, it's so true, and like it's difficult. So like if I can only really equate it to speaking, but like I tell jokes for a reason, right? Because I want people to be engaged.
Yeah.
Right.
If they were to just
connect.
if they were just to sit there listening to me, and I'm
you.
just like, for God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten
Monotone.
Son. Like whosoever, come on, God, like he does use us. So he gives us vibrance.
Yeah.
He gives us dynamics.
Yeah.
He gives us senses of humor. He gives us vocal range.
Yes.
He gives us, ability to understand music. And so like this notion that we can bring a performance to him, I don't think is a bad thing. No. Right? Like it's a bit of an offering. Yeah. Right? Like I'm going to give you everything that I have.
Yeah. You want to give your best.
Yeah.
Your
right.
best. You want to do,
I don't think you would ever
excellence.
Yeah. I don't think you'd ever want to go, well, that stunk. But
and that's also the reason why on Tuesdays we have worship practice.
I was going to say that, which is why you also do master classes, which I don't know if you mentioned that, but you do master
classes
so
with
your
folks.
musicians can hone in on their talent.
But that's not your starting point.
No, that's not our starting point. Our starting point is using our gifts and talents to give worship.
Yeah.
After that, it's okay. Now that we're here doing that, let's bring excellence.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Let's make sure that we're not. It's the difference between Jesus, we love you. Oh, how we love you.
Yeah.
And Jesus, we love you.
Yeah.
Oh, how we love you. Right?
I just wish I could sing.
I know, right?
I'm like, she's literally just sitting on a stool and not even trying, and she
doesn't even need an instrument other than her voice.
Fine, go ahead.
Are you coveting over there?
A little bit. Lord, help me.
But yeah, it's just the difference between like your posture.
It all comes back to the posture.
How you view it, like, and I'm
is.
sure like there was a felt difference between the first time I sang that and the second time I sang that, because the first time I sang it, I was just like, eh. The second time I sang it, I was actually thinking about the words and
singing with conviction,
putting feeling and conviction behind that, right?
So good.
Can I connect that to something weird now? And it's not weird, but it's obviously not on topic or not on the track that we have here.
Sorry.
Yeah. How do you think we can, like, because people who come into praise and worship, let's be honest, for some it's become a consumerist part of church.
I want to hear this song. I want them to play a song I like. They better have the electric guitar today. They better, you
totally.
Like, right? Totally.
Like, that's so real.
It's real, yeah.
Like, first of all, that must frustrate you. But how can we move people from the position of this is for me to, I don't care if you're out of tune.
Yeah.
Sing it out because it's bursting out of your heart.
Yeah. The way how we can do that, honestly, is first come with the thought that it's not about entertaining you.
Yeah.
It's not about you're not paying money for a concert. You're not
It's that consumption thing, right?
You're coming because you're a part of a community.
Yes.
You're coming because you understand that being in community is edifying.
Yeah.
It feeds you.
Yep, strengthens you.
It strengthens you.
Yep.
It makes you understand that you're not alone in whatever it is that you're going through.
Yeah.
The person standing next to you may not know exactly what you're going through, and you may not know exactly what they're going through, but that morning that they walked in, they could have gotten a bad news that a family member passed away or somebody's hurt in the hospital, and they came in because they felt that that is where they can find the best comfort for that morning and the best peace of mind, and to receive hope and to receive joy, even though their situation is not the greatest.
Yeah.
But the way how you can come in is to first say, okay, you know what, this morning I woke up, I'm not feeling the greatest about coming in, but I want to be in community. I want to be in the presence of God with other believers. Get into that mindset.
Yeah.
And when you come in, you're not going to be wanting to stand there just to be entertained or made to feel good.
Yes.
And even fed, like, or edified, like, those are great things. But why don't we ever come? Well, no, I mean, some of us do, but why can't we switch it to I should be the one who's edifying people? Like, I'm going to come in and serve.
Yeah.
And I'm going to serve God. It's going to make me serve people.
Yeah.
But, like, I could be the answer to prayer today for someone rather than consistently coming and saying, I need my prayers answered today.
Yeah. Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. So there's a focus that we can have in worship. And actually, this is tough because, like, we've talked about this before, and I think just recently in the last week, my mind is shifting on this slightly.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Share.
Yeah, and so this is weird. And so we're going to end up talking about this maybe more than you're just going to, and maybe you had said something before that actually made my mind shift on it. I don't know. I don't know why my mind has slightly shifted. But when we think about focus, we can get really worried about like focus going here, right?
Self.
In worship. And the way I've heard that sort of explained is like worship now says me.
Yeah.
Me. And wow, like, and there's this notion that we
Like
need to
worship
change.
songs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we need to change it to God focus.
Yeah.
Okay. But then I read the Psalms. And I'm sorry, but there's a whole lot of God me, God help me, God be my refuge, God be my fortress, God, and there's a lot of me focus in the Psalms.
Yeah.
So do we just say all of those Psalms are selfish? Or does it show like a posture that we do need to have where it goes, like I need you. I need you to answer my prayer. I need you to be my fortress. I need you to be my strength and my shield. Like, so I don't know. Do you think, maybe I'll just switch this. Do you think that there's too much of a me focus in worship right now and not enough on God? Or like, what do you think there?
It's a good question.
That is a good question.
I want to hear your answer because I have a lot of thoughts about this.
Okay, that's interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah.
That is a good question.
And it's a curveball. I'm sorry, because the way it was originally worded was quite different.
Yeah.
There's some songs that are like group focused. Jesus, we love you.
Like for a congregation that are good to. Okay.
And I love you, Lord, and I lift my voice. I don't know where those two songs came from,
Oh,
but
I love that song.
I love
man,
that song too.
I
sometimes
love
it's
that
a struggle
song.
for me to find songs, but those two songs, they have in the words, in the lyrics, two different focus.
Yeah.
But if you realize in both of them, the focus is still God.
Yeah.
The focus is still God.
Yeah.
When we come and we make it about us, I think it's at that point, and it's just my thought, that we're just broken in that moment and we really need more of who God is. And that is fine too. Right? Because as we get filled with him, as we get redirected by him, as our focus and our hope gets rejuved, we then are able to make it more outward. And sometimes our lyrics, I don't know if you guys ever hear, but sometimes when we're singing a song and it says and we're in community worship, I'll change it to
Switch
us
it. Yep.
or
You say
our
we.
or we, right?
Yeah, we love you. Yep.
Yeah. And it's just in that moment, it's speaking to more of that, especially when you hear the entire congregation
totally.
Singing and
It's like
worshiping.
one voice, but it's
One voice,
Yeah.
right? So that's when you can, as the worship leader, you're paying attention to that. You're listening in. You're making yourself open to that so that you can redirect that atmosphere from the I to the us,
the we.
to the we.
Yeah.
that's good.
That's
And that
really
has to do
good.
with that posture you take right from the start.
Exactly.
Of
Yes.
God, what do you want to do? And I mean, that opens the door to the
everything
prophetic.
stems from that.
Yeah,
That's
it really
the initial
does.
and
It
everything.
really does.
Like I know
So
there's a
the
song,
sound,
so like Raise a Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I love that song.
Okay.
We sing it. It's a great song. I know that song gets a lot of flack.
Okay.
Like for congregationally.
Yeah.
Because they're like, why we like I'm gonna sing in the middle of a storm, da da da. Like they're saying I raise a hallelujah, I do this. So I've heard that like get a lot of flack.
Yeah.
Where
Okay.
I'm like, but sometimes people need that.
So in that song,
Right? Like time and place, I guess, is what you're saying?
I feel like people really need to stop nitpicking over things
Because
that
remember,
are
even
so
Reckless Love.
insignificant.
Remember when
Yes.
Reckless
I
Love
was
came
thinking
out,
about
that.
and
Oh my
everyone
gosh.
was like, "God's not reckless." I'm like, you're not listening
No.
to the lyrics.
No.
Or you're not getting the point. Like, I get it could be a little, different
Yes.
for people.
Yes.
Like, my
And there's
grandparents
poetic
are
license there,
My
for sure.
grandparents
Yeah.
are like in their 90s, and like they don't get it.
Exactly.
Right?
And
Like, I
also
get
too,
that.
we need to also think that worship songs, although we're singing it in congregation, they're also written for folks for when they're not standing in the middle of a congregation on a Saturday or on a Sunday or whenever it is that you worship with other people. But it's also for that time when you're going through that storm. You're in your regular life and you need a song. You're not going to sing, we're going to sing
Yes.
in the middle. It's,
Yeah.
I'm gonna sing in the middle of the storm. Like, you're in the middle of your kitchen, you're in your bedroom, and you are broken beyond broken.
You're fighting.
And all you can do is just sing, I'm gonna sing in the middle of the storm. Louder and louder, you're gonna hear my praises roar. And then it's like, as you're singing that song, you're edifying your own spirit.
Oh, totally.
Right? So it's, am I gonna sing, I'm gonna sing, or am I gonna sing, we're gonna sing?
Right.
So we need to think of those contexts. As well with reckless love, it's our minds, if we really take the time to stop and think, and a lot of the times when you guys see me on worship and in the middle of the song, I'll start crying or I'm just on my knees, because the words are slapping me so hard and it's hitting my mind so hard, the comprehension. There's one where it's like, you sent your son, right? To die for my sin. Like, there's a song like that. I can't remember the exact one right now. But just the words, right? Reckless love. Just thinking about the fact that he created us. He knew every single thing every single human being was gonna do after they got created. He could have said, you know what? I don't think so.
Like, I'm gonna go over here.
I'm gonna go over here, mind my own business. I'm already in a relationship with my son and the Holy Spirit anyways. Why am I gonna make something that's going to break my heart and all this other stuff? But he did anyways, right? As a human being, we can't fathom that.
No, we can't.
So the writer who wrote that song, the best way that they could fathom and put that into words is to say that God's actions, how we can perceive is that he's reckless, because that's
running after you.
Yes, that's the human capacity that we have to say, oh, he's gonna leave 99 and come for me.
There's nothing he's not gonna do to come after me.
He's gonna move mountains and
just light up the darkness.
And do all of this just to come for me.
Right.
It's kind of like you're safe in your cabin. You have 4 children, and somehow one of them leaves the cabin in the middle of the night. You know that there are wolves. You know that there are bears. You know that there are all sorts of things out there that can hurt you, or whatever the case may be. And I'm thinking from the father-mother concept. And you're just like, you're safe here. Do not leave the cabin. Lock the doors. I'm coming back. I need to go get your sibling. Leave. You don't know where they are, but God always knows where we are. Thank the Lord. You don't know where they are. You just know that they're out there. And you're just praying that they're not too far away, that you can still get them and get them safely. But you're still going for them. For us, that's kind of considered reckless, right? In the sense where, hello, you have 3 perfectly good children right here.
You're going out to God knows what.
You're going into God knows what. For one, of course, because I love that one. Just like how I love the other 3, I love that one. So if it looks reckless to you, that's on you. But I'm going for my one. And bringing it back to worship, it's like, that's the reason why when you see the team worshiping, like, we're not doing it just because. We're doing it because we understand in our own capacity, in our own strength, who God is to us.
Totally.
And how he's providing for us and what he's doing in our lives and how he's kept us and how he's brought us to this point. Like, we didn't know that morning that that's where we were going to be 20 years ago. But God knew.
No. Okay, there was so much there that was like really deep. Of course, it brings out things in me. And especially when talking about, and I think it was when you were sort of talking about the congregation saying, and there was those moments where you would say,
I to we.
I to we and stuff like that, right? I'm going to go back to the I, because I don't know how we lament as we.
No.
And And Lamentations is something that I feel that we've tried to get rid of in worship.
Yeah.
Right? But we, like, the way you were describing it was bringing out the lamenting in me. Like we were saying, I'm going to sing in the middle of the storm. Yeah. Like you're lamenting in that same step of faith. You're like going, this is, but I'm going to in the middle of this storm. And there's a power in those lamentations that we need to return to or have, like, Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. Oh. Like there's power in that, and people don't like it because it's not in the Bible. Like, but how amazing is the grace that did save a wretch? Like I need to recognize and lament that.
But hold on.
Go on.
How many times in the Bible does it say that God gives us grace?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A couple times.
Okay.
At least.
Is it not in John, correct me if I'm wrong, that he says, for God so loved the world that he sent his one and only son?
Whoever believes in him?
Yeah. That's him sending his son to Amazing Grace.
Oh, totally. How about 1 John 1:9, for God so loved the world? No, wait, that's what you just said. If we confess our sins, he is faithful and just and will forgive us our sins and cleanse us from all unrighteousness.
Yes.
That's grace.
That's grace.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, and grace is all over the Old Testament too.
I think folks need to really need to stop trying to make worship what it's not or make it like we're trying to create something
or appear.
Yeah. And just be in that space where first you come in, and one of the things that I used to love, because I grew up in the islands, is that when you come into church, and I still see some people do it now, they come in, they take their seats, and they bow their heads and they say a quick prayer before they come into worship, or they go into the worship service. And I think that's a time when we are in that time surrendering ourselves to who God is and what he can do in our lives. And then the first song that we sing is to empty ourselves of all the muck and all the things that are swirling around within us and what we're focusing on, so that we can truly focus on him, so that by the time we get to that's the praise part, by the time we get to the worship part, which is the lamenting part of getting into, although we're in community, we're getting into that prayer closet piece where we are, I love you, Lord, and I lift my voice, that type, that we can actually connect with him as that person. I'm coming to you now, fully surrendered, broken before you. Please do your work.
It's definitely a common theme. Surrender, right? Like, wow. There's so much good stuff there.
I know. I'm just really processing.
I really get a vision of, like, because you've really brought out the I and the we to me, which I really appreciate. And then I get another vision of, like, you could have families all in a church and everybody in one voice saying, as for us, we will serve the Lord. But you could also have it where one family stands up and says, as for me and my family, I serve the Lord. And then the next one, as for me and my like this sort of together, but as as a big one, but then individually, like there's just so much power in me saying, I will serve the Lord. And then you saying, yes, me too, I will. And then you saying, yes, me too, I will serve. Like, so like that, we don't get lost in community, right?
No. As I always tell the collective members, we are many different parts. But we're one body. If one person, if one area is missing, we're all going to be affected. And it's the same thing with the body of Christ, right? If we love each other as we're supposed to, if we're in community together as we're supposed to, yes, that one family is strengthened in their own way because They worship together at home. They speak into each other. They read together. They pray together. But then when we come in to the family of God, like the bigger family, it's not like they all of a sudden disappear.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
It's not like we disappear as individuals.
Right.
It's what's in our heart, who we are, comes together to make that full community.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like a marriage.
The three of us right here, four of us right here, we're all in here. We're all doing different roles. We're all playing different parts. But this is one cohesive community conversation that is happening where folks can easily see us as individuals, but also see us as one together.
For sure.
Yeah.
And we need to really think about that.
Anyway, sorry. That was
wow, that was really good.
That was so good.
That really got me thinking like a lot because I hear there's like, oh man, people just love to talk. So there's just like a lot of talk. I'm not saying like in Bethel. I'm saying like at large.
Yes.
Like there's so much talk about like, oh, we shouldn't sing this song because it's too like me focused. We shouldn't. And like, I get what they're trying to say, but at the same time, like those songs were written for a reason.
Yeah.
Like, and I think it's so important. And like you said, you have the I, and then you decipher like when we can switch to the we. I think that's major because I think a lot of worship leaders don't hone in on that.
Yeah.
They
That's
don't.
true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Like a lot of worship leaders, like I've seen a lot. I've been to a lot of places, and you could just, and you know something too that I've noticed is you can tell when your worship leader has been with the Lord. You can tell when your worship leader has, you know, everyone likes to call it the secret place, but when you're like, dude, like, I hate that.
I've never heard that.
You've never heard that? Have you heard that, Sheril?
Yeah.
I feel like the secret place. It's like when you have like your one-on-one time with God.
Yeah.
So, but like when
Your
you're
prayer
not
closet.
the prayer
I've heard
closet,
the prayer
you know,
closet.
you've never heard the secret place.
That sounds
I think
icky.
it's a very charismatic
We're
terminology.
charismatic.
Anyways.
Maybe God shut my ears to that.
Maybe.
Too funny.
But you can tell when someone goes on stage and has been with the Lord.
Yeah.
Right?
And
because then again, it comes back to your posture, but then you're so in tune to like, we're singing I think we got to sing it to we now and switch that.
Yeah.
And that shifts the entire atmosphere as well.
It really does.
Like I'm like
sure.
I'm mind blown about that whole conversation.
Yeah.
Processing still.
It's beautiful though.
Yeah.
It's like allowing God to work through you.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Like,
And you know, the scripture that comes to mind, because I have a couple of scriptures written down, and Philippians 2:23, right? And it says, "For it is God who is effectively at work in me, both to will and to do for his good pleasure."
Yeah.
And as we're leading worship, whether you are the main lead, the co-lead, the front line, the vocal group, whatever it
Musician.
is, you need to position yourself in that aspect where you're saying, it is God who is working in and through me effectively for his good pleasure. It's not for my pleasure.
Right.
Right?
Ooh.
It's not for my edification. It's for him, to give him glory, to speak to me, through me, to folks who are in the congregation.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You have to have that. And that's the reason why I always get poked every time somebody says, "Oh, that was a great performance." No.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I'm going to go
Yeah.
back to that. No,
Yeah.
not a performance.
No, that was my gift back to
for
God.
sure.
Yeah.
And you have to think
Yeah.
of how it lines up with like the whole service. How many times have you seen God work through songs that you've chosen? It's like, boom, this lines up.
Okay.
Yes.
Right?
With the sermon
There-
that was preached.
So
You don't know what the sermon is.
No.
You don't know.
I don't
'Cause
know
you
what the
make
sermon
yourself-
is.
So like, for example, Sunday we finished service. You came to my office, we were hanging with whatever, and you were working on the set list already to send out for next Sunday. Pastor Peter didn't have a sermon written for next Sunday yet.
No.
Like, you don't see that.
No.
Yeah.
And then to make matters worse, so this is relatively in the last couple of months that we have switched over to me putting the worship set out this early because we have practice on Tuesdays. But before, we used to only have rehearsal on Sunday mornings. So the worship set wouldn't go out until like the Thursday.
Right.
Yeah.
And Pastor Peter already has his sermon
written by
then. And I'm the type of person that he is. I know that he looks forward, and as he's praying, he's asking God, like, what shall I speak to your congregation about? And I'm sure that he has the series, right? So I don't know what he's preaching on next week, and he doesn't know what songs I'm picking. So there was that time when it's like, Thursday, I'm sending out the set list for Sunday, and then come in on Sunday, go through worship. What I say during the exhortation, the songs that I sing, when I go back down and I'm listening to his service,
you're like, whoa.
I'm just like,
wait a minute.
And I have his notes because we have the floor director who has to cue whomever, the service director who has to cue whoever, so they need the notes. And that's when I'm reading through the notes and I'm like, what?
Like, wait a minute.
Right?
Wild.
Never a coincidence.
Wild.
Well, and then like as a the person who does the middle stuff, right? How many times has the worship experience even spurred you
100%
to say something in the prophetic
100%
that encourages? And like, just to me, I think that it's a massive part of the process of people raising their hands for salvation.
Yes.
I probably, I'm going to say that there's a significant high number of people who kind of make their decision for Jesus already in the worship service. And then it's like reinforced, right? Like, so they've come to church for a reason. They're like, they're not just, oh, I don't know why I'm here. Like, they know what a church is usually and what they're going to sort of get, God, right? There's going to be God here. And then I'm making assumptions here, but I do really think that they probably at least are nudged super far already by that worship experience.
Because worship is the place where your heart gets tilled. Your ground gets tilled. Right?
And we were created to worship.
Yes, we worship something no matter what.
Yes.
No matter what. Even
so
if you say you don't believe in God,
we're all worshiping
worship something.
So when our hearts come into the atmosphere that you've created, something shifts in us.
Yes.
I agree with that.
So
Oh,
amazing.
My.
Beautiful.
So, is there anything, like we've talked about so much good stuff, like is there anything that you would want to leave people with, a scripture, a thought?
A thought. Worship is not just a time of coming to make yourself feel good or like however you want to look at it, because we're not here to be clanging cymbals, right? But worship is a time to connect in community, to receive that word spoken into your spirit so that you can receive that encouragement through the songs that we sing, the words that are being sung, the word that is coming in the message. And it's a time to connect with each other in community. So whenever you're going through a rough week, whenever you wake up in the morning, on a Sunday morning, if you're coming to Bethel or another church and you're just there going, oh, I don't want to go. I'm so tired. I'm so broken. I'm so whatever the case may be. Always remember that if your plan all week was to go, and if that's placed in your heart to go, and then all of a sudden the morning just makes you feel like you shouldn't go, chances are you should be there because there is a word for you specifically for you.
That's a challenge and so true. Wow.
So get yourself up, brush yourself off, come in for that worship time, push as much as you can. Even if you get there at song number 2 or whatever, come in and be ready.
It matters.
Like to just be in his presence. Even if you're not fully ready to be in worship and sing and open up your mouth or whatever the case may be, but just come ready to just be in his presence. 2 Timothy 4 verse 17 says, "But the Lord stood with me and gave me strength." but the Lord stood with me and gave me strength. Amen. And this past Sunday, I have to tell you that scripture rang so true for myself and my team, because we all were like, oh, we should be at home in bed, because one of us was in the emergency on the Friday. Mm-hmm. Another one of us was sick all week with the flu and whatever else. Another one is scheduled for surgery during the week. Mm-hmm. Like, there's just so much
going on. Yep.
But we always come from that place of, this is not about us. Yeah. This is not for us. This is for the glory of God. And if we're feeling as if we're being attacked or we shouldn't, or we can stay home, but the Lord stood with me and gave me strength. Oh. But the Lord stood with me and gave me strength.
That is so good.
Powerful.
So.
Thank you.
It is,
Awesome.
Thanks, Sheril. Thank you.
Welcome.
Take it away, Sarah.
Take it away. Okay. Well,
we might want to do a part 2 of this.
Yeah, maybe. I feel like we can even get like deeper into. Yeah, I would just remind people, if you're listening to this, when you see the collective team, thank them.
Yeah.
Because they work really hard. They're learning new songs. They're perfecting their craft, their instruments, the musicality, like all of it. And I think to like point out, like, watch when you're worshiping, when you're at Bethel and you worship, like, watch the worship team, because they're all worshiping individually when they're up there. Like the band, right? They're all worshiping when they're up there, and that just shows the posture.
There are times when I look up into the booth and the audio person or the service director or the lyrics person, they're up there and their hands are raised. They're up there worshiping as well.
Yeah, I think that's beautiful, because
it is beautiful.
Oftentimes I see the stage set with other people, and that's not the case. So I think it's just beautiful. So thanks, Sheril.
Yeah, thank you, Sheril,
for joining us.
Thanks
for leading the collective team so beautifully.
Yeah.
God has blessed me with such an awesome opportunity and a calling, and I am just absolutely grateful that I get to do this.
Yeah. We're glad that you're
glad
here.
that you answered the call.
Yes. So drop a comment to Sheril.
Yes.
Tell her how much you love and appreciate her and the collective team.
Would love that.
We would love that. And then we'll be back next week for another episode.
Awesome. All right, guys. Love you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening to There Must Be More podcast, a production of Bethel, Ottawa. You can catch us on YouTube, where we would love it if you liked and subscribed. You can also catch us on Apple Podcast and Spotify.